everyone, and welcome to episode 88 of my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play series. I am currently on my Human Guardian, and we're going to continue with our explorations in the Frostgorge Sound, but really quickly I want to swap to my Necromancer just to give a little bit of an update, where I've been doing more map completion in Eteria, and I'm getting pretty close to completing everything that I need to do before we finish out the entire world in Frostgorge Sound and in Ore, but still a little bit more to go. And as I was working on map completion on this character, I completed the local hero achievement where you complete 500 tasks, so I have completed that, and I've gotten a lot of astral claim, and we'll look at more of that in a future episode. But I want to go ahead and come into our mastery page here, where I have maxed out the experience I need for all three of these mastery tracks, and I currently have 21 points. So let's go ahead and learn productive downtime, and then let's come into here, learn Magister of Legends, and then we can come into Fractal Attunement, and we can learn this as well, which brings us to mastery level 10. Very exciting. And I want to go ahead and make sure I'm training Pack Commander, and I am, where we can learn supply line management next, which is very exciting. But now let's continue our explorations of Frostgorge Sound, and we might skip around a bit because there is a very special world boss in this map that should be up in a little bit, so I'll probably skip ahead to that, where we need to leave this area where we finished off 2 episodes ago, the last time we were exploring Frostgorge Sound. And of course, last episode we explored the Honor of the Waves, so we can get a nice view of the entrance to that place and like the outer areas of that dungeon. But first, let's go ahead and dive into this like frozen ocean here, and we can begin exploring everything down here, where we have a bunch of underwater areas in this map. And I quite like these underwater areas because they're like pretty unique compared to other areas, because we got like all these icebergs and whatnot, and some more kind of like, you know, Arctic animals and like nature around here a little bit. But we have this Quaggan village, and there are many Quaggan villages around here. And we also got a hero challenge located somewhere right here. Let's go ahead and talk to Tolubu, where we can go ahead and fight their shark right here. So pretty simple, just fighting hero challenge here to get us another hero point. And we are getting pretty close to level 80, which is exciting, and we will be able to see our mastery level 10 once we reach level 80, but it just shows us currently being at level 79 right now. And down goes the shark. Hero challenge completed, and let's go ahead and pick up this waypoint, and then we can explore this area over here where there's a scout just northwest of us. Let's uncover this map art. We got Maladar's Inlet, a bunch of undersea ice worm hatchlings all around, and some Arctic jellyfish. Where there is a vista this way where we can see the edge of another sanctuary there. But I think first things first is we come explore this area. And let's go ahead and talk to the scout over here. You can see a bunch of like orange orbs just floating in the water there. Some blue orbs as well. Very pretty. And a guild rush that is going on nearby. And another Quaggan town of Orsipus, Zuckermaloo specifically. And then we have the scout up here, Torblip, where I just do enjoy all the Quaggans around here.
Icebrood have destroyed many Quaggan homes and villages. The refugees came together and founded Orsipus up north in Demotiki Waves. Quaggans can't survive without being strong now, without being a team. Now Quaggans want to fight and win the Quaggan Games.
The Quaggan Games. So let's go ahead and swim north. We do have a vista right over here and a point of interest that we should grab first, and then we can come into range of the task that we need to do. First things first, let's swim down into this like underwater ravine, which is very cool, with a ton of landmines, or I guess sea mines, or just mines in general, just floating here in the water, related to the guild race that is going on, or guild rush specifically. But swimming back up, we can see the classic waving banner for the vista right here. Very pretty, but let's go ahead and spar with trainees, light quag and lanterns, kill hostile worms, and use shark bait to attract and kill ice sharks. We see a couple of humpback whales swimming around here as well. And we have an ice shark that's swimming in from over here, so let's go ahead and deal with the shark. Go ahead and just light everything on fire. Why not? Our fire magic does work underwater, which is very convenient for us, but maybe slightly confusing, but we can just say it's, you know, magic. The game's a veteran, and we want to talk to some trainees so we can help train them up for the games so that they can better defend their village. And I'm definitely going to need to get a better build on my guardian at some point with some better armor as well. And I might want to actually pick up like a couple of different armor sets maybe, so we could experiment with a couple of different like ways to play guardian. And we can do the same thing with like necromancer as well, and we can do the same thing with like all the different professions that I can play throughout Guild Wars 2. But I've played many different types of guardian builds over the years, since guardian is my main character. We have this veteran giant arctic jellyfish just swimming this way, and I feel like it looks so cool. There's also like the more tiny arctic jellyfish swimming with it, which is a very cool sight. I feel like there's a lot of like fun details in the underwater areas of Guild Wars 2, but I don't spend enough time underwater, and I should definitely explore it more and just take in the sights. I think this is the last lantern I need, and it is, so let's go ahead and get our task reward there. And we are at 62% map completion for Frostgorge Sound, and if we run or swim this way, we can get to the surface of the ocean here. And I think if we swim around to that iceberg right over there, we can get a waypoint and a scout, and we can see another Golden Sanctuary right there. And it looks very cool, and I love like all the sails, all the buildings and the braziers. It's just very cool looking. Let's go ahead and jump up here, and I guess we might have to swim over here just a tiny bit. And we have the waypoint and the scout here, fallen into night.
Jormag has driven us as far south as deep and troubled waters can take us. Now we must stand together to keep our home safe and drive the ice brood back. We must do what we can to keep our sanctuary in good repair while we fight the ice brood.
So let's go ahead and explore this area now, where we can fight some of the ice brood, and we can also go ahead and just complete the tasks. I love all the white molas just sitting right there, but if we swim around this way, we have the vista that we can see on the sanctuary, and then we have the entrance to the sanctuary itself we should be able to find right here. A little bit of a different entrance compared to the other sanctuary that we were exploring earlier, and I think that's kind of cool. And this one is often under attack by the ice brood. The sanctuary is on the Sea of Lamentation, but it looks like it's doing pretty okay right now. But let's get a nice view of this sanctuary, where we have this convenient vista. And now we can go ahead and complete the task. 2 more vistas left to get in this map. And I think these final 3 tasks are fun because they are the final ones in Guild Wars 2, because in the 3 Orion maps, or in 2012 Guild Wars 2 specifically, because in the 3 Orion maps there are no tasks for us to complete, and we basically just like focus on the events and whatnot around those maps, plus like the other pieces of map completion, a ton of hero challenges. So to that end, Frostgorge Sound is the final highest level map in Guild Wars 2, where we have tasks available for us to complete. And I think that's kind of cool because these feel like the end game tasks, like the final tasks in the game. And of course we see more and more in the future with like different attempts at making like different types of tasks and whatnot in different expansions and Living World seasons and whatnot, but that's for us to explore in the future. And as far as like 2012 Guild Wars 2 goes, this is pretty much it. We do have this entrance here that is more familiar to the one that we explored earlier, and we can come down here, There's no way up right here. A tired, cold, and ice shaper. We can go ahead and rally them. And we have a water entrance right here, which I feel like is very cool. With a couple of Coden down there swimming. But let's run back up here, give ourselves swiftness. We need to heal this crack. And then let's run back up here because we can give this fish to a hungry Coden. We could also eat it ourselves, where we will gain health and a swiftness boost. But I feel like that's not really good for us. A hungry Coden here. Here we go. And then a tired one over here. Let's go ahead and rally you. Never sorrow, basic merchant. And that is our task complete. We unlock the merchant, and let's go ahead and run back out this way, where we have the way we came in right over here, and then we have this big area in the northwestern corner of the map, where we have a big task to fight a bunch of ice brood all around here. We have the Jakar Spurs, this massive area right here, and we can try to find illumination, and we can fight some of the ice brood around here. And I feel like this is a very cool name for an area, because for anyone who has played the original Guild Wars, Jakar is a big minion, a lieutenant of the Elder Dragon Jormag, the creator of the Ice Brood. And did I just disconnect? There we go. That was weird. Where Jakar was a very like evil villain that we interacted with in Guild Wars 1, as they basically corrupted the Norn Svanir and turned him into the Norn Bear. And basically we have like the whole like Norn arc of the Eye of the North campaign, where we have to deal with Svanir, and his legacy is what inspires the sons of Svanir to follow the dragon Jormag, and their hatred to Jorah, Svanir's sister, who put him down. But Jakar is just a very interesting character who I feel like has a lot of like mystery enshrouding them, and we can like see them like frozen in the ice in the original Guild Wars, but we don't ever really fight them to my knowledge. There's a Frost Portal Hero Challenge right here, and let's go ahead and spawn whatever's going to appear, where we have 2 Icebrood Quaggins and an Icebrood Colossus that we are going to have to deal with here. Let's buff ourselves up with everything, and then just demolish the Colossus, and the 2 Quaggins can follow, and we can get 1 more hero point for us. Some classic corrupted ice here we can go ahead and destroy, and we're about halfway done with this task. If we swim around this way, we can approach this waypoint, and there is an entrance to a map that was added long after the original release of this map, and they basically kind of like changed up this area a tiny bit to add that map portal over there, which I feel like is really cool. And I love it when that happens, where we go back to like older maps in order to go to like newer maps that were added like long after those earlier maps were introduced to the game. And I just like, you know, seeing like this map over here, that we are not going to be going into this location for a very long time, but we can just think about what might be over there. And that's kind of like what Frostgorge Sound is in general, because we have like the Wayfarer Foothills just south of Frostgorge Sound, which is the Norn starting area, and it's an area that we can basically explore like level 1 to 15, and then we can see Frostgorge Sound directly connected to it, which is a level 70 to 80 area, and we can just think about what might be in these lands that we'll be exploring in a long time. And I like that we kind of see that going on here again, even though Frostgorge Sound is like a level 80 zone, and that zone is like a level 80 zone, and we can go over there and explore that whenever we wanted, as long as we have access to it, which I do on this account. But I want to play through the game chronologically, so it's going to be a bit. I am almost done with this task. I think I just need to kill like 1 more thing here. We got this Ice Brood Elemental, and we can complete the task just like that. And we are now done with the northwestern area of Frostgorge Sound. And now I'm going to skip around a little bit and return to Yak's Bend, because I want to head north out of this area, because in just a few minutes we are going to have a massive world boss event happen. And we also have a scout over here who we could chat with if we wanted. So maybe we'll just try to explore as many of the areas north of here as we can until that world boss spawns. So let's go ahead and grab this point of interest right down here at this Coden camp, which is a very cool looking camp. Sacred Trust. And then we have a very interesting area here with like a bunch of canyons and stuff that we can go ahead and ride our raptor through. And we can see the meta event, Breaking of the Claw of Jormag. The sky is calm. Jormag's lieutenant has been driven from Frostgorge Sound, so we are going to fight a lieutenant of Jormag. And there are a couple of commander tags and also a mentor tag up right now. And it looks like there is a script burglar that ran through here. So let's go ahead and follow the path. And I think if we just keep following this, we will be able to come out of the area right here, where it's going to start lagging a little bit as a bunch of players load in. And we have Earthshake Basin. Where first things first, let's go ahead and just run to the eastern side right over here, where we have a massive packed camp and a very cool location of the map portal to Fireheart Rise. And with getting this waypoint, we have reached level 80 on this character, which is very exciting. That classic male, and we can get our level up reward here of a ton of stuff. We can see right over there are a couple of Char Vigil Crusaders that are just guarding the entrance to this map. And this is the other side of that area that we saw a few episodes ago. Let's right into here where we have this point of interest right up here. And I do like this Vigil camp a lot. A packed camp, a Quaggan Emissary, and a Coden one here at Elder's Vale. Where if you want to read this, you can go ahead and pause. Just a bunch of very fun characters all around here. Let's go ahead and ride around here because we have a vista right up here. And I did miss that vista over there. I saw it, and I'll go back for it at some point. But if you just come up here, if I recall correctly, this might be a very cool vista because there are a bunch of players around right now. We didn't see too many, but right there is the area that we were going to start fighting the Claw of Jormag at. So if you watch this vista during that fight, that would be a cool shot. Let's go ahead and run this way. We have 5 minutes until the events begin. We have Frostwalk Tundra, and I'm just going to run straight through here and to the other side because we do have some areas over here that we can go ahead and explore. Specifically, we got this waypoint that is currently contested, and then we have the scout, and we can also get a glimpse of the dungeon entrance for the Honor of the Waves, and that is the Honor of the Waves right there. Very cool looking area. Let's go ahead, come into this camp really quickly. We can get this waypoint unlocked, and then let's turn around right here, dismount right here, and talk to the scout.
A great storm gathers in the north as Jormag and the Ice Brood sweep across the land. The Pact has drawn a line in the snow, but I fear even they cannot hold back the Elder Dragon. For Grey Sojourn and our brethren at the path of starry skies, time grows short.
So we will come back to this specific area and explore more around here, but let's go ahead and continue to the eastern end where we have this task right up here, technically the final task in 2012 Guild Wars 2 that we can go ahead and explore. And we have a few minutes, so maybe let's try to come grab this vista really quickly while we wait. A nice little raspberry bush for us, and I do love how this entire area looks, so let's get a better look. That is such a cool vista. I love that so much. And that is the final vista in this map. And I think I'll just waypoint back over here really quickly. And we have 2 minutes until the Claw of Jormag spawns. So let's go ahead and get ready for this boss fight. And we are fighting a dragon. So very similar to Tequatl, who is a world boss that is a minion of Zaitan and is a dragon, and very similar to the Shatterer, who is a world boss and a dragon and a minion of Kralkatorrik. We have this world boss, the Claw of Jormag, a minion, a lieutenant of Jormag, and a dragon that we can fight. So we have a bunch of players hanging out here, so we can go ahead and work with them, and we can take down this world boss. Go ahead and eat some birthday cake so we can get a few buffs here just to gain some extra karma and some loot and some experience and gain a few stats. And I feel like this is one of the most iconic world bosses in Guild Wars 2, but it's also very, very dated, and it hasn't been updated like Tequato or the Shatter, and I really hope it does get updated sometime in the future. And we see the introduction of a variety of different mechanics and like the concept of power creep over the years, where this entire fight is a lot easier nowadays than it used to be back in the day, but we can still experience it nevertheless. A dragon crystal has landed here, where there is a dragon flying around the sky right now somewhere, and we can try to catch a glimpse of it, but we're going to have a variety of these crystals that we can go ahead and fight. So there's one there. There's a beast in the sky somewhere, not that one. Another crystal here that we can go ahead and break, and this might give us some credit for the task right here, which is nice. It did not. That's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and ride back this way very quickly. And there's a glimpse of the dragon that we are going to be fighting as it flies off behind the mountains. We got a thesis right here, so let's go ahead and interact with this so we can get another buff here that increases our precision and experience from kills. And then we have another dragon crystal here that we can go ahead and deal with the final one. And we have this big arena here where we are going to basically shoot a bunch of artillery at this dragon and ground it, where we are going to be able to attack it. But oops, I did not need to get into that siege turtle. And we're going to have some weapons here that we can use to basically attack the dragon. Let's go ahead and just take a look at this.
Eyes to the sky. Keep the dragon in your sights. Fire at will. Force it out of the sky.
Some must fight, so that all may be free.
The ice is shielding it from our attacks. Break the barrier.
The wall's down. Strike now while it's stunned.
So it is grounded, and because of 2025 Guild Wars 2, this mechanic was just completely eliminated. Where normally there is a big ice wall there where we have to basically use some of these like charred bazookas and explosives over there, where we can go ahead and destroy the ice wall to be able to attack the Claw of Jormag, but it was instantly broken, and we have very, very quickly phased the boss. We're just going to run off that direction. And a very like interesting thing going on here is there is an achievement where if you stand right over there, the dragon is going to land on you as it comes back around this way, and I'll do that some other time. I just want to continue with the fight here, but we can go ahead and maybe try to get a nice view here.
This time we'll bring it down for good.
Here we see all the players over there, and we can see this cool shot where it crashes into the ground, so you do not want to be right there, and then it slams into that mountain right there, and then it climbs up right here, where we have another phase of the fight where we can go ahead and just start blasting away. And we have this mechanic here where we cannot get close to it, where we have this icy grave, and I think we might have to run back here a little bit. So let's just come here. Yeah, and I still have this debuff, so this is going to be a lot of damage for us. And I might just go ahead and wait. I got Litany of Wrath. And we're just going to let the other players deal with that right now. We could maybe just like run onto the group, but there's these like golems that have to like bring like the bombs this way and whatever, and then we can basically like attack the dragon properly. Alright, let's try to get down here maybe. We'll have to rely on our allies, I think. And a very interesting part of this fight is that originally the wings of the dragon were going to be like ripped off and it wouldn't be able to like fly away. That's kind of like what's going on right here. But that is not the case, obviously, as we can still see the wings here. And it's just the massive dragon attacking us. The boss is now at 5% health, so let's go ahead and just continue blasting away with everyone who's stacked right here. It looks like the golems really didn't get in here, but we can go ahead and defeat the Claw of Jormag. A really cool war boss. You can see this death animation there as it falls into the icy ocean. And we can get all of our rewards here. We got a bunch of pop-up chests right there. And we are done. Where if we jump into the ocean after the dragon, I think we can like see the wings potentially around here, or it might be located somewhere else. I remember how you could see the wings, and it was like weird that you could, because like the wings don't get cut off in this version of the fight, but it's something that used to exist in this fight way back in the day, and like before Guild Wars 2 even released, I think. Is that it right over there? Oh, there's the wings. Very cool detail. And honestly, very cool looking wings. We have another Quaggan village here, and let's go ahead and get this point of interest at the Mosh point of interest. Mosh boy. Let's go ahead and swim back up here where we can get the waypoint, and then we can get a nice view of the Honor of the Waves dungeon as well. And we got the waypoint, that's all we need. And here we can see it. And I was basically talking about how you could like see outside of the Honor of the Waves when you were doing the dungeon, and this is basically the area we were looking at. But like I was talking about, it looks pretty different in the open world compared to how it looks in the dungeon, just because of, you know, how game design and all of that stuff works. But the dungeon itself looks very cool, and it's fun how you can see this like big area that you explore in like a dungeon but out in the open road, and it's kind of similar to like Caudicus's Manor in that way. And I guess while we're here, let's go ahead and swim down here where we have the glacial trench, and there are these urchins that are going to like shoot at us, I think. And I remember this being really annoying, so we have to like kill all 4 of them. But they're pretty easy to defeat, it looks like. So let's go ahead and just stab this one a couple of times, come over here, stab this one a couple of times, maybe a few more times than just a couple. This one seems to be slightly more tanky than the other one. We got this one here. I think we can avoid fighting the other one over there because of line of sight. So we just have to deal with this one really quickly, and then we can get to this hero point. Just commune with this place of power. And then we can swim back up to get to the waypoint for the dungeon itself. And then I want to go back towards the Claw of Jormag area. We have 1 hero challenge left to get. Or maybe I should just swim west? No. Let's wait to do that. Let's come up here first. Right over here we have the entrance to the Honor of the Waves, and we can run into the dungeon that way, or we could just go in through Lion's Arch, which is what a lot of people like to do nowadays. I find this area very interesting because it feels like really out of the way from like the rest of the map, because like the bulk of the map feels kind of like this, and then we have like a dungeon here, and then we have this like outcropping right here where the final task is. And let's go ahead and just work our way up here where we didn't get any progress during the Claw of Jormag, but we have a ton of Ice Brood all around here that we can go ahead and fight. And there are some Coden over there that we can go ahead and fight as well. Some Ice Brood Coden. Let's deal with the Seer really quickly. We can be out of combat, and we can go ahead and run around this way very quickly into this cave that I always find to be like very cool, where there's 4 Ice Brood Coden and a couple of dead Coden in here that we can go ahead and revive. Let's try to group everybody up here. Looks like this Ice Brood has a Flame Breath ability, very interesting. Let's go ahead and just stab them all, leap into them. And I guess we are actually out of the task area, so maybe let's try to guide this Goliath out this way so we can get credits for the task as we kill this guy. And then we can also fight multiple enemies at once as we do this, so we can get more progress on our task faster, except it looks like the Goliath wants to run away, so I guess we'll just kill these guys first. We'll leap back into here. Let's see what we can do against this guy. We can knock the Goliath down, complete that event, and now we can just run back out this way. You can also just light up all the torches and we don't have to fight anything if you want to complete this task that way. But we can also like throw in this like ice brew claymore kill and just combine everything together to eventually complete this task. There we go. Task complete. I'll quickly run this way to get this waypoint. And then we can return here in the future, but there's not like too many reasons to come up here specifically, but it is nice to have the waypoint nevertheless. Where there's one more waypoint left to get, and I think let's return here again. And I forgot to get this point of interest all the way over here, so I should probably grab that as well. I think we need to come down this way. I think we actually don't have to because we have the arrow pointing up here. Okay, right up here, will this give us the point of interest? There we go, deep and troubled waters, 93% complete. So now let's return back to here. Running this way, we have a big graw area, and I feel like this would have been a good spot for another task in this map just to clear out the graw here, but I believe there is a hero point right around here. And we can also explore the area. Here's this hero challenge. And I remember this hero challenge very vividly. For anyone who remembers my live stream that I did a little bit ago, I was talking about like some hero challenges that I did on like my Reaper at the time. And I like remember this one very vividly as well, alongside the other two that I did at the start of that stream. Let's go ahead and just try to do as much damage as we can. We can also clear out the ads here. A few more stabs should do it. And there we go. The final hero challenge and Frostgorge Sound. And I mounted up just in time. So let's get out of here and we can run south of here where there's not too many more places to go. We have like one more waypoint and one more point of interest, it looks like. And then we are 100% complete with Frostgorge Sound. But there is one more thing left in this map that I'm excited to explore through. So let's just come over the hill here and we can see this big icy area. There's a ton of dredge around here. And then we're gonna have to get into the water. So let's just go down here. And then where is the waypoint around here? Or did I miss the waypoint somewhere? But to get to this point of interest, we do have to find the entrance to it. And I'm kind of blanking on where the entrance to it exactly is. We have this Coden outpost right here, which is being sieged by all the dredge around here. And I think I found the entrance. Let's go ahead and run through these dredge tunnels, deeper into the earth and into the water, where we have to swim through this area. And then we can come back up right here. And I think there's more swimming right over here. Oh, this is not the entrance that I was thinking of. That's not the entrance. Very close though. Okay, Athos, where is it? Okay, I think this is one of the other entrances. It wasn't the one that I was thinking of, but if we swim down this way, we can go ahead and just get towards this point of interest. We have this entirely submerged underwater cavern right here with a bunch of dredge pipes and whatnot. And then we have the point of interest for the Iron Horse Mines. Very, very cool location. But let's just swim straight back out this way. And we have one waypoint left, and I think it might be like right here. I'm really kind of blanking on this waypoint specifically. We just discovered the shattered ice flow, and we are on this like little island now, and we do have this waypoint all the way over here at the ice flow, which is the last thing that we need for Frostgorge Sound. So let's go ahead, just ride our raptor this way to the other side of the sanctuary here. And we have the waypoint right at the entrance, where there's another waypoint right over here basically at the other entrance, which is kind of interesting. But there we go. The ice flow waypoint unlocked and Frostgorge Sound completed. And we just got the etched shard, which looks very, very cool. A very interesting looking dagger right there. And we also got this iron hammer skin, which these are actually like somewhat decent weapons for where we are at right now, but we can get better ones. And we got the mail from the Tyrian Explorers Society. The trials of ore and battle with Zaitan await you. Be careful and embrace your newfound strength. So with that, we have completed Frostgorge Sound, but there is one thing left. Because if you look at the map right here, there is a little area right here, and it is a jumping puzzle. Also, I feel like I was on like the right path for the entrance to this place, but maybe when I was in like the watery area I had to swim down. I'm not entirely sure, because in this watery area we have to swim down here in order to get into this place, and it is a dwarven ruin. So we swim up here. It's a pretty short jumping puzzle, so it shouldn't take us too long to complete. And as I say that, it's probably going to end up taking a very long time as I fail a bunch of jumps. And I don't think this is the beginning. I just want to land right there so I can get a nice view of this entire area as a bunch of skelk attack me. So let's go ahead and find the first jump up, which is always the most difficult, and I think it's right here. So let's go there. And this is kind of just like a random, messy, like dwarven ruin, and there's like a lot of like different ways you could potentially go, I think. And ultimately you're just trying to climb up to the top, and there are like a bunch of things attacking us along the way. So let's just jump up this way. Next, I think we want to go this way, so let's jump over here, and then we can kind of climb up the mountain here a bit. I love this tree right here, very cool looking. We got this chain that we can run across, and then over to here. And then we got this like dwarven building. Let's run up here and then onto like the doorway. Very, very cool. I just love like the vibes of this entire area. And I do love dwarven ruins in general, and we have completed the Shattered Ice Ruins jumping puzzle. A very, very quick and very short jumping puzzle. We can get 10 achievement points for that. And there are some diving goggles over here, so let's go ahead, put these on and jump. Oh, this would be miserable into the frozen waters here. And we can progress our dive mastery achievement like that. And now I am officially 100% complete with Frostgorge Sound, and I think I shall return to Lion's Arch on this character. But really quickly, I wanted to hop onto our Char character here, where I reached level 80 on my Savari Necromancer, and I reached level 80 on my Human Guardian, so I might as well on my Char character. And I thought, since I don't think I've like officially done it yet in the series, let's go ahead and use a couple of Tomes of Knowledge, where we can double click this to gain a level, and we get our level up reward right here. And then we can do it one more time in order to reach level 80. So we have another level 80 character, and we can get our level up rewards there. And then I could use it again just to get a single spirit shard, or I got 15 spirit shards from reaching level 80. And I have 4 Tomes of Knowledge that I can throw back into the bank. And I think I have some on other characters as well. But now we are level 80 on this character as well, so we can begin doing chapter 8 of the personal story. But that's going to do it for me here, where I'm going to go ahead and call this episode good here. And we did a lot of stuff, and I hope you enjoyed watching all of that. And I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the Road of Tyria. Goodbye.